Hello. It's me. With the wrong game capture. Let's go. And also, I don't know why that's there. Can I get... There we go. I was chatting to some of the lads before we start. There we are. Welcome, everybody, to round, 4, I think, in the P0 Championship Season 7. We are here in my home Grand Prix, Circuit of the Americas. One of my 3 home Grand Prix, being an American boy. A lot of memories here, as people in the general chat have been very quick to point out. Thank you all for that. We've got 19 drivers, I think, or 18 off the top of my head. I know Tobias is not joining us today. Craig Brook, you may know him as by his gamer tag in the kick. So Bosch is on his own in the kick there. I think we are waiting for 2 more off the top of my head. But, you know, sometimes people aren't able to make it, which is fine. But we've got more than 15 drivers, which means, if my memory is correct, we will have a full qualifying. Yes, you can see it in the bottom left there. So, the rules to recap for those of you listening in for the first time who may not know. Pash, thank you for the Prime sub. Much appreciated, buddy. When we go in for qualifying, if we have less than 15 drivers, then we do a short qualifying, which is an 18-minute session. All drivers go out, they've got all the tyres. Whoever, the final order at the end of those 18 minutes is the starting order. If we have more than 15 drivers, we go into the knockout format, which you know in real life. So Q1, Q2, and Q3. Q1 is 18 minutes long. And the bottom 5 drivers, or bottom however many, basically until there's 15 remaining, 15 go through. Get knocked out in Q1, then there is a 16-minute or 15-minute session in Q2 where only the top 10 go through, so 11th to 15th get knocked out. And then the final session, which is 12 minutes long, which defines the starting order for the top 10, which is what we're going to be doing. We're looking to go live in about 60 seconds. Looks like we might only have 17. I think we're too short. But we will see. Very exciting. COTA is a fantastic track. It's a car that really, it's a track, sorry, that really rewards car setup. Obviously, Sector 1 is a lot of S's, very twisty, takes inspiration from Maggots and Beckett's. COTA famously is a track that takes inspiration from a lot of ones around the world. So you've got that uphill braking into T1, which is really, it's a really acute corner. And because the steep hill that going up to the corner is so steep, I've worded that badly, you can actually brake really late. You can be really combative into there. And you go into this really twisty section, really easy to pick up time penalties. I think time penalties are really going to define this race, if I'm honest. You then go down into a very, very long back straight with a DRS zone, which would be the main passing opportunity, which makes up the majority of Sector 2. And then, the end of Sector 2 and then the rest of Sector 3 takes a lot of inspiration from the stadium section in the new Hockenheim. Kind of very technical corners, sort of decreasing radius corners, very short, having to adjust your lines, sort of flows into another a little bit, but it can be a little bit clumsy. The exit curbs in Sector 3 are actually quite high. They can really upset the car or slow you down, especially if you're running TC. And then you've got that great flat-out corner before the last 2 corners. The last 2 corners, I should say, also really easy to pick up penalties. The penultimate corner on the track is a very quick corner, which you can take with a dab of brakes and a downshift. I think it's a dab of brakes anyway. But the track almost narrows a bit as you exit the corner, so it's really easy to wash wide and pick up a penalty. So I'm curious to see how drivers go. I think if you can keep it within the lines, I think you will be rewarded favorably. I'm looking at drivers like Luke. I'm looking at drivers like, let's have a look up the red. Pace is usually pretty good at not getting any penalties. I would say Kev and Devaro. Devaro definitely is pretty good at picking up penalties. He got a buttload of points last race from not picking up any penalties. Kev, I think Kev only got 3 seconds of penalties in last week's race as well. And obviously the newbies, we'll have to see. We'll have to feel them out how they go. This is one of the worst tracks for time penalties off the top of my head. But I'm just waffling now as we wait to ready up. I think we're just waiting to see if anyone else can get into the session. But I'm excited to see. A fantastic track, always makes good racing. Even here in P0, we've always had some blockbuster races, especially with a bit of rain. Funnily enough, to speak personally, the first podium I ever got whilst racing in P0, which I started back in 2021. I got here. It was a wet to dry race, and it was Chris Allen was winning pretty comfortably, and I think I matched Rob in the Aston Martin on strategy, and I think, if I remember correctly, I matched Rob on strategy, and I managed to stick in his DRS for a bit, and it kind of pulled me away from the pack a little bit. But I picked up a time penalty, and Cleon, who is now known as Fatboy Sim in the Ferrari up there, was gaining on me and was within my time penalty window, but he lost it on the last lap. I can't remember where, but he spun it, or he got taken out, one of the two. And I got my first podium, finishing third at my home Grand Prix. And that was, it was such a good feeling. Because when I started in P0, I was rubbish. I finished like a minute off the pace and dead last. I got disqualified in qualifying in my first ever race. But, kept going and, won a couple races, got a couple podiums, and now here I am talking absolute shite. I've got myself a little stubby here, a little European beer, one of the 25 centilitre ones. That's going to be my nectar for this race. Should have bought an American beer, but you know what world is like with tariffs at the moment. Can't afford it. I'm expecting Luke to be a pretty solid contender for pole here. I think Fatboy Sim will be really good for pole. Rob is usually a good shout. Chubby Sog, I think, will do well here. I think Pace will do well here. I think Tesco is my dark horse. Tesco showed some very impressive pace in Zandvoort. Got very unlucky in both the sprint and the race. I think he's one to look out for here, especially in qualifying. I think he can properly put a car up there. We saw him very, very quick in the first race in Portugal as well. But we are going to go into qualifying one now. This is the big one here. Skies look pretty clear, so no imminent risk of rain as far as I can tell. Obviously, the drivers will be able to see the weather forecast. They'll have an idea of what's coming. I don't. I get to experience it at the same times live as the viewers. But it looks pretty clear, pretty standard out there. Track's probably not at its peak temperature. Q1 is really about just getting a lap time in. You just need to go around, set a proper standard banker lap. I expect a lot of drivers will set one on the medium tyre. And just get a lap out there, see kind of where you are in the pack a little bit. And then, let me see if I can get Rob back in, because I've just noticed he's dropped. If I have him on here. I do. There you go. Get yourself out there. Get a time on the board and just see where you are. So I think the first driver to go out is Mr. Seedy. I need to get up my spectator thing there. No, there's a Haas out front. I always like to go with the first car out and watch them as I go through. So Vibora. Let's have a look. Who else is out? Cav is out in the Mercedes. I can see, I think that is a Red Bull coming out there. Do we have a Red Bull out? I think that's Dale. Yes, it is. So Dale is coming out. So who are we missing today? Tobias is not with us today. Arwen isn't with us today. And Georgie, the Alpine driver, is not with us today as well. Yeah, so we've got 17. K-Pax obviously did well for us as a reserve driver and is taking a break from the league for a little bit. As we have a look here, it's an Alpine, no, sorry, a Williams, excuse me, of Devaro. Devaro? I say Devaro, that might be wrong. Who's come out as well. Bosch and the Kick has come out, and the other Williams of Baz has come out as well. But we always like to go on board with the first driver. So we'll see how Vibora can do. We'll go on the broadcast view, I think. This is a great corner on the track here. I'm going to go off straight away. It's completely flat all the way around here. It really wears on the tyre. And you'll see the corner I mean here where it's really easy to invalidate going out wide. But we're going to go on board with Vibora in the Haas, starting his first banker lap on the soft tyres. As he starts his lap, DRS open. It's fairly short pit straight here. You want to keep all the way over to the right-hand side. You want to brake really confidently up here. You can brake a lot later as you think you can. You encounter some traffic with the Williams there. You want to touch the apex there. I think he might have invalidated there. No, he's kept it clean, and now it's flat to the first two S's here, and now it's all about throttle control. Don't invalidate, but try and keep as much speed as you can going through as he hurls the car through the S's. There's a great angle there. There's a corner coming up here where you're going to have to move over to the left, slow it down a little bit. The curb can just slow you down a bit. Don't invalidate as you cut there. Don't invalidate going wide. It's flat down here, and this is one of the most important corners on the track. It's very difficult braking here. Hard down. I think you brake at 100 meters. Clip the apex. Don't run too far wide. Bit of a snap there. and he's invalidated. So he's put his light on. So at some point in the S's there, Vibora invalidated his lap time. I'm going to go down to Mr. CD, I think, who's also invalidated. Kev, however, is on his lap, so we're going to watch Kev go through. Down this, it's a very, very, very long straight here. The white line on the right does move around a little bit, so you kind of want to be in the center of the track. Hard braking at 100 meters, maybe I think it was 125 for Kev there. Clip the apex there, don't touch too much of the exit curb because it'll upset the car. Move all the way over to the left. You want to brush the apex there, but you don't want to go too far wide because you need to tuck it right back into the right-hand side. It's a hard braking there. It's kind of a weird sort of double apex corner a bit, very aggressive curbs. It's flat out to this final long, I think it's turn 17. Again, actually easy to invalidate on the inside. You want to take a lot of curb on entry here. Take as much curb as you can without invalidating. Kev keeps it within the lines. One more corner to go, and Kev will set the first time on the board. DRS hoping as he crosses the line. It's a 1:33.3. Kev has set the benchmark. Dale, I think, is the next to go. I'm losing all my fucking things here. There we go. Dale is just coming around the final two corners here. I expect ERS is going to be quite difficult to manage here because of how aggressive that straight is. Dale's going to cross the line here with a 34.5 for Dale. I'm trying to see who else was starting up. I think Devereaux is on a lap, potentially. We go on board with the Williams driver now. He is also finishing his lap as well. Let's see where the Williams driver puts it. And then we'll go on board with Bosch, who is going to finish just behind them as well. Devereaux crosses with a 1:34.1, and Bosch will come down with a 1:33.7. Very good. So Chubby Slug looks like he's going to start his lap now, as is Michelando. Who was that went? Let's have a look. Is Baz, I think, going to be on a lap? I've not wholly kept up. Baz has done a 33.6. I'm going to watch Fatboy Sim as he goes now. Red Bull giving a little bit of a tow there to the Ferrari driver. He will take that. Thank you very much. As they go side by side. Love to see a little bit of action in qualifying there. Fatboy Sim, I think, is potential for pole here. Pace is at a 32.7. And Fatboy Sim did run a bit wide there, didn't he? He took a bit of curb. It can pull the car out a little bit there. He is on the medium tyres. Put the tyres up now so people can see what people are on. Yeah, so Bosch was on the mediums, Dale on the mediums as well. Those drivers who think they'll be fine to get through, not finish in the bottom three, should be able to get through on the mediums. I'm just going to invite Pace back now once we see Fatboy Sim finishes that, because I'm curious to see where he puts it on those medium tyres, and we'll get Pace back in. A couple of connection issues today, potentially. Fatboy Sim does a 33.1. I'm just going to quickly get Pace back in here. There you go. You might have had a disconnect of some sort. Chiv sets a 33.1 as well on the soft tyres. Haas coming out of the pits there. That was Vibora, who's going to go again. Skarma's on his outlap. I think Chubby Slug might be on his lap at the moment. Let's see where Chubby Slug puts it. The Ferrari driver of the day, in Zandvoort, I think he did quite well. Went from 18th to 4th, and he puts it second on the grid, 32.8 on the soft tyre. So Pace has set the pace, if you will, at the moment. Michelando sets a 33.4 in the Aston Martin. Let's have a look who else is going around. Is Mr. CD out? Yeah, Mr. CD, I think, is on a lap at the moment. Tesco, I think, is also out. Or he's just... Yeah, Tesco's on his lap now, I believe. So we'll see what he can do. I'm just going to quickly check my notifications. Yeah, it's fine. So Pace is back in. We're going to watch the Mercedes driver on the T-Cam view here. I'm going to take off all the spectator views so you can see what I mean about this sector. It's so technical, isn't it? The apexes, you kind of got to pick your braking points at times. It's going to dump a lot of the battery here. It's completely flat. I think you'll go up to 7th gear by the time you get to the corner. Tucks it quite closely on the right-hand side. Yellow flag's telling him someone is just getting out of the way. Keeps it very modest within the curbs there. Don't want to invalidate in Q1. You just want to get a lap time in. Very conservative on the battery as well from the Mercedes driver. That's a 33.2. Just matching his teammate there. Oh, can I... There we go. Can I switch driver? There we go. The perfect game, 10 out of 10. Let's have a look. Geos at a 34.3. Mr. CD with a 33.9 as well. I'm just having a look. I think Vibora is going on a lap. Now let's watch the Haas driver go. Oh, he's validated again. Oh, it's so easily done going through the SS here. You're flat out, and the most minor of correction changes can be enough to just put you over the line. Hopefully he's fueled up. I can see he has fueled up to go again, so he will recharge his battery and keep on going. I think Skarma might be on a lap now. Let's go on board with the VCARB driver, see where he is, as he's just coming around the last few corners here. More ambitious on the curb there. Run out of his deployment, but kept it very safe on the exit curbs. Skarma, as he rounds the final corner, slaps the DRS on and goes top. A 32.5 from the VCARB driver. Had a cracking start to the season. Hopefully, we will see if he can snag himself another pole position. I'm just having a look up and down the grid here. It's all sort of settled down a bit. Bosch is floating around. He's on 3 lap all tires. I don't think actually he's come in yet. I think he might just be coasting around. Tesco's out. Kev is also out. Kev might be on a new lap. If we have a look at the Merc driver. A lot of drivers on grid at the moment. Yeah, so Kev has actually just started his lap. So we'll go on board with the Merc driver, see if he can improve. I'm going to stick it in TCAM this time, just so you can see what it looks like from the driver's point of view, especially through these very quick corners. The car is just so grippy nowadays. You can just turn in and it just pulls itself into the tarmac. It's very remarkable. Takes a lot of curb there. He has kept it in the lines. Very easy to validate there. Easily cut on that bit that he's just gone through. I've done it myself. Brake at 100 meters. Brake just after the 100 meters. Very confident on the brakes from the Mercedes driver. Had a good qualifying in Zandvoort, had a really good race. He was running P2 for a bit, but picked up a 10-second time penalty, which shuffled him right down the order. I'm hoping to see if he does any better today. He uses a fair chunk of battery in this straight. You kind of need to. Brakes at 110, I think that was. You can take a lot of inside curb there. You don't want to touch the exit curb. You want to move all the way over to the left. You can take a little bit of this curb here, but you don't want to wash too wide because you need to move it all the way to the right-hand side. Ignore the first apex there. Brake a little bit early. Turn in. Clip as much curb as you can. Don't touch the exit curb because it can upset the TC. And it's flat all the way through here. I'm curious, is he going to brake coming into this penultimate corner? Yeah, it's a brake and it's a double downshift. Keeps it safe on the exit. One more corner. The track cambers in ever so slightly. He moves up to a 33.1. He's pulled about a 10th on his previous time, I think. So an improvement. Jumps over Fatboy Sim there. Rob and Luke have both gone out. Vibora, I think, might be going again. I'm going to go check on the Haas driver. Oh, I think... no, I think it's the same lap that he invalidated on. So we'll see how he goes. Having a look, Dale has gone out again because he is at risk. We expect Rob and Luke to be in contention for Q1. Let's see what the Haas driver can do. Love the uphill braking here. It's so difficult to pick your braking point because you can't really see the apex, especially when the sun is shining at certain parts of the day as well. You really can't see the track. I love seeing the car throw through these corners. It's so brilliant to see. The car just sticks, doesn't it? Vibora keeping it clean. So far, so tasty. And it's a pretty good sector one, I think, for the Haas driver. We'll see what he can do. Needs to set a solid lap time here. To my knowledge, Vibora, I don't think, has made it to Q2 in any session where we've had knockout qualifying yet. I could be wrong in that statement. Need to get myself a little stat book. You got all the time in the world to wait as you go down this straight here. It's such a long straight. You're just waiting to pick your braking point. You can brake at about 100 meters here. You want to take a little bit of the curb there. You really don't want to... Does very well not to touch the exit curb. Let's see how he navigates the technical corners. So far, so tidy for the Haas driver. This is one of the hardest corners on the track. The track dips in so much. The same as the last corner. The car sometimes doesn't necessarily do what you want it to do. And it's really easy. It's really hard to just get the car turned in and just get on the power and get the traction that you need. Is he done well? Oh, it's a big snap. He's kept it. Somehow, he's done brilliantly to save that there. Oh, and on the last corner, heartbreak for the Spanish Haas driver. Oh, that's so unfortunate for the Haas driver. He was looking like he had a decent lap in the bag there. Having a look at Rob here. who is just set a 32.2. So he has set the pace. He's probably safe. I want to find Lucullus here as he rounds the last two corners. Again, very easy to invalidate, as we've said. Does he keep it safe here? Oh, the car just fighting him ever so slightly, but keeps it safe. There's a car who's gone off there. Luke's at a 32.2. That looked like Dale. No, was it Dale? No, it was a Williams, I think that is. Or is that an Alpine? I can't tell. All the blue ones look exactly the same. I think that was Mr. C. No, it was a blue car that had a moment. Excuse me. Oh no, it's a V car. I think maybe they had a spin. We will see. That actually might have been Pace. Yeah, that was Pace. Pace has left the session, so Pace is having some sort of connection issues. Unfortunate for him. I'm going to send him another invite here. Something happened there. As we see Dale jumps up there to a 33.1. Puts himself relatively safe. So Luke and Rob are just coming in. Pace is out, but not currently in control of his vehicle. Tesco has just come out on his outlap. Dale is going to go. Baz is out on his outlap. I think Mr. CD is currently on a lap. Yes, so we'll see how Mr. CD does here. I'll stick on a TV pod, actually, through the last couple of corners. I love to see how drivers navigate this corner in particular. There we go, flat out here. The car just grips. It's basically not a corner at this point. 2 more corners to go. Very confidently throws the car in. One last corner. Can you dip a little bit of the curb, get the car rotated, gets on battery really early. Mr. CD, is he going to improve his time? He does, to a 33.2. But in P10. Would love to see Mr. CD, another driver who I don't think has made it through to Q2 yet. Correct me if I'm wrong. Vibora has come into the pits to refuel, put a fresh pair of tyres, and have one more crack at it. As it stands, it's Gio and Vibora, the Haas duo, who are at risk of going out. 2 drivers will be knocked out. Chubby Slug is out on his outlap at the moment. Tesco, Baz, Bosch are all coming out as well. I expect a couple of drivers will come out. Those at the top will probably stay where they are. They're probably quite happy. Those in the 32s, and probably, we're saying that the cutoff right now is a 34.1 from Devereaux, but 14th is a 33.6, so there's only a half-second swing from P6 to P14. As we have a look, that is a Haas driver who's come out. Some of those at the top just retiring because they don't feel the need to go out again. I think Tesco is about to start his lap. He does indeed. Chubby Slug is about to start his. Devereaux is out. Vibora is out as well. So Vibora's one to look out for. Gio is still in the pits. So we'll see if that Haas driver comes out in a moment. We'll stay on board with Chubby Slug as he goes 4th and tries to improve on his time. Probably safe with the 32.8, but we'll have to see. As the AI puts Pace back in the pits. I know Pace has been having some technical issues recently, so hopefully he can get himself back in. So I'm just having a quick look. Yeah, I'll send him another invite on. Steam, so you can see the pause menu here. Apologies about that. Just trying to get drivers in so they have a chance. As we see Chubby Slug absolutely hurl the car through. Gets a good entrance onto the straight there. A lot of time to be gained here. If you can get on power early on that corner, if you can get it just right, you can get a lot of time as it just extends out through the straight. Baz and Bosch have also started their laps. 2 drivers who are potentially at risk. Tesco is nearly finishing his lap now. Vibora is going to start his lap. Gio was also on his outlap, so whilst I was trying to get Pace back in there, Gio did come out, so the 2 drivers at risk. So Michelando has lost his chance to go out. So Michelando in 12th thinks that he is safe. He's the only driver in the pits who isn't out on track at the moment. Vibora starts. As Tesco improves to a 32.5, very strong time from the Mercedes driver there, puts himself very clear. Chubby Slug nearly loses the car, does very well to keep it all pointing in the same direction. Chubby Slug will cross the line, improves to a 32.5. So I'm going to go on with Baz here, who is just coming around the final corner here. Has Baz done enough to improve his time? Baz stays on a 33.6 unless he's going to go again. That is Gio and Devereaux starting their laps right now. I'm going to see what Bosch is doing at the moment, if I can find the kick driver. There he is. So he's got a couple more corners left to go. Michelando has now retired. We'll check in on Vibora in a minute. and see how they're doing as the next driver to cross the line. Bosch goes fourth and sets a 33-1. Is, I believe, statistically safe. Having a look at Vibora now entering Sector 3. Had a big snap on the penultimate corner. Can he get a lap together here and get himself out of the danger zone into Q2 for the first time? Having a look up and down the grid. The flag is out. So this is it. The drivers on track now, which is Gio, Vibora, Devereaux, and Baz. All need to set their time. So Mr. Seedy's taking the line in P12. Devereaux, Vibora, one more corner to go. Opens the DRS and sets a 34-0. So Vibora is provisionally in unless Gio in the Haas and Devereaux in the Williams can beat the Spanish driver. Baz is also, I think, going to come around in a minute. So we're going to go on board with the Williams driver. Let's see. Having a look, Gio's invalidated. So Gio is invalidated. He will start P17. So it's a question now of whether Devereaux in the Williams can knock out the Haas driver. We'll see. He's only got a few more corners left to go. Is he doing enough to get himself into Q2? Oh, he's invalidated. Oh, he's gone wide on the second to last corner. Unfortunate for him. He will be knocked out in Q1 along with Gio. Vibora's through and Mr. Seedy are through to Q2 for the first time in their PCO careers. So very well done to both drivers. And we see the first two drivers fall. Gio and Devereaux both invalidate at the time when they needed to do it the least. Well, the least I've made a pig's meal of that, haven't I? They both did it. They shouldn't have done it. There you go. Oh, well then. Right. One next session to go. 15 minutes to see who can sneak in. So, Luke has set a very solid time up there. Rob Tesco looks to be right in the mix, along with Chubby Slug and Skarma, both 3/10 off, both drivers. Fatboy Sim did a 33-1 on the medium tyre, the only driver to take the flag on the medium. So we will see how he looks competitively. I don't know what the delta is. I think it's about 8/10 delta. So he would still be in line with Tesco and Chubby Slug on the soft tyres, unless he's holding a little bit in the pocket. Very exciting, right? We'll see who can get through to Q3. Well, Vibora there in chat. Well done. Congratulations on getting through. Managed to get it hooked up at the end. Did brilliantly to save the car on your second to last run. I thought you were going to dump it into the wall. So very well done there. You got to do it all over again and pull a little bit more time. What is that? Look at that. There's 9/10 there between P10 and P15. A lot of time to be made on this track, but it's also very easy to invalidate. We've seen drivers do it. Gio, Devereaux, Baz, we've seen do it. Thank you for the follow, Vibora. Much appreciated as well. We will go. Sun is still out. The track, I don't think the track is at its peak temperature still. There's a little bit of cloud cover there. Track can get quite hot in COTA. This race takes place in Texas in... Oh, God, when does it take place? That takes place in the autumn a little bit as well. So you're looking at track temperatures... air temperatures, excuse me, of pushing about 30 degrees Celsius, which the track temperature would be up in the 50s. Which means that your tyres can be sticky, but they can wear. But obviously cold tracks as well, you slip around a little bit, you wear a little bit more, so you need to be on the right tyre. I can't imagine the soft will be a particularly viable race tyre. Dominated with the Prime Sub, thank you all. You've all been very kind. Pass as well, Dump one as well. 2 follows today, appreciate it. You're very, very kind. We're going to go on board. I think Dale is going to be the first one out. No, I don't think he is. I think that is a VCarb driver there of... Is that Skarma? Who's come out? Who is that? No, that's a Williams, I think, actually. Is it a Williams? Oh, the Blues look the same. It is Baz in the Williams. Will be the first driver to take us through on the banker lap. Yeah, time for 2. You've got time for 2 runs here. He's letting drivers go. Right, okay. Charitable from the Williams driver. So I'm going to go on board. A lot of drivers coming out here. I tell you what, everybody's come out, haven't they? Really, Baz has stopped. Baz stopped. I think he's just letting people through. So Mika Lando, top driver there, has a lot of company. You're joined in the league when you get your skills up. Well, thank you very much for the kind words. If we encounter ourselves a gap, a space, we will be sure to let you know. I'm going to go on board with Dale. Drivers seem to be swapping around quite a lot here, don't they? I always like to follow, as I say, I always like to follow the first car to go out. And looking at it now, this is what I'm intrigued about, right? 15 minutes session, 13 cars on track. Everybody's setting their banker lap really early on. I wonder if there's something that they know that I don't. Maybe rain's on the way. Who knows? I think they're all on the soft tires. Yeah, they're all on the softs. So there's an absolute cavalcade of cars queuing up in Q3. That was, apologies for that alliteration. That's Luke and Chubby still in the pits. But what matters now is Dale Shooter in the Red Bull. Had a good start to the season, Dale. He's gone into the pits. He's gone into the pits. Interesting, okay. So I'll go on board here with, I think Michelando is going to start. Yeah, so we'll go on board with Michelando. The first driver. No one driver wants to be the first to cross the line, apparently, but we'll watch Michelando and the Aston Martin go around. DRS on. Let's see how late he brakes for this corner here. We'll have a completely clear track ahead of him. Is he going to touch the apex? He gives the apex a little bit of a miss, but gets on power a little bit early, uses the exit curve not to lose any speed, and now it's flat through about 3 or 4 corners here. Careful not to invalidate, but you want to take as much curb as you can. Love the angle. Watch the cars fly through those turns there. Keep the car all the way over to the right. Cut over into the left here. And then there's this slow 4th gear. It's uphill. It's slightly off camber as well. Don't invalidate on the exit. Don't wash too wide. And Michelando keeps it very neat and tidy. I have to say, one of the hardest corners on the track here. You really need a good exit onto the straight because you feel it all the way down. And he's keeping it clean. So there's plenty of drivers on laps at the moment. Bosch is going to come through and set his in a minute. You're just waiting as a driver. You're just waiting for your chance to pick your braking point here. Not to go too deep as we see a V-carb closing in the background. See how Mika navigates the technical sector here. He took a little bit of curb. I'm actually going to go on the TV pod for the last few corners here. Tucks it over to the right. Ignore that apex. Brake hard. Wait until you see the apex there. Turn in left. Use the camber of the track. You can take a little bit of curb there. You don't want to take too much exit curve, as I've said before. You want to keep the car a little bit close to the right here. You don't want to wash too wide because you need to get all the way over to the right, over on the green curb. Chuck it in. That was a downshift and a lift from Michelando. Uses plenty of exit curb. Drop it to 3rd gear here. The curb can rotate the car a little bit. DRS open. Wheel wobbles a little bit. It's a 32.9. From Michelando, very tidy indeed. Skarma sets a 32.9 as well, and drivers are going to start crossing the line. Mr. Seedy crosses in a 33.9. Chiv with a 33 run. Rob Wills I'm on board with now. Sets a 32.7. Mercedes driver of Kev is going to cross the line and sets a 32.9. Very strong time from the Mercedes driver. Baz sets a 33.1. I've lost the thing here. Let's have a look. Pace crosses the line to start his lap, I think. Let's have a look. Fatboy Sim does a 32.2, 5/10 on the field there. Very strong. Mr. Tesco has a 34.7. I imagine he's probably going to go again. Having a look. Bosch here. Through the final corner, uses a lot of curb, does not invalidate, he just lifted off the throttle. He's going to have lost a little bit of time, but is he going to set a decent enough lap? Puts in P2, it's a 32.5 from the kick driver. Very strong time from him. Dale is just going to start his lap now. Chubby Slug and Luke are still in the pits. Pace is going to be on the lap. Vibora is going as well. Both drivers are going to encounter a fair bit of traffic. Dale almost has the track to himself, as that's the McLaren of Luke coming out as well. So just one more driver to set their time. A lot of banker times coming down. Some strong times here. And as Dale navigates his way through, I'm going to go on board with the Haas here, who's managed to navigate a little bit of traffic fairly well. Brakes a good place. I'm just having a look up and down. Luke and Dale are going at the moment. I think Tesco, I expect to be setting a decent time at some point. Oh, he's invalidated. So Tesco has validated. I'm going to go back aboard with a Haas driver here. He's just got a couple more corners to navigate as they all stream into the pits. Everybody decided to be out, and Chubby Slug is out. So Chubby Slug is out. No drivers left in the pits. One more corner to go. As Pace sets a 33.4, I think he encountered a lot of traffic. Vibora sets a 34.6 as well. Also encountered traffic. We're going to go on board with Dale and see where he is going. He's the last driver currently on a push lap. And then you got the McLaren and the Ferrari still to run. I'm going to go on the direct view. Love seeing the cars fly around here. cars sound brilliant as well, especially on the onboards. I try not to talk too much when we're on board with it. Dale, where is the Red Bull driver going to put it? It's P9. It's a 33-2. Luke on his flying lap now. I'm going to sit it on TV pod here, and I'm not going to speak. I'm going to let the car speak for itself while you enjoy Luke on his lap. Luke there with a 32.5, very strong lap. And I got to give my applause to Lucalis for going through the S's as he did on automatic gears. He's an absolute madman. Looking up and down, Chubby Slug has invalidated, so I don't know if he's going to pit or if he's going to go again. But this is the state of the field on the left-hand side. As you can see, Chubby Slug is going to go again. He's going to go again. So he doesn't have full battery, but he thinks he can set a good lap time anyway. But yes, I love hearing the cars go around. The McLaren's got quite a nice noise to it as well. But watching Luke navigate those S's on auto gears is very, very impressive. You can see why he is such a competitive driver as well. But still 3/10 off of Fatboy Sim. I knew Fatboy Sim had a little bit left in him. I knew he had time in him. Chubby Slug is going to go on his lap. I think he's actually... No, I think Chubby Slug has just gone off it at the moment. So Skarmo's on a flying lap here. We'll see, decides not to get a tow from the McLaren driver. Having a look, Kev is out on his out lap at the moment. I think Mr. Seedy has just started, as has Vibora as well. So a couple drivers to keep an eye on. 5 minutes, 30 seconds left of the session. I expect drivers to start coming out with about 3 minutes, maybe 3 minutes 30 left to go. I know Fatboy Sim likes to go out fairly early. He likes to get an early lap time in. Michelando has actually just gone out along with Dale, so they're going a bit early. Say, I don't want to deal with the traffic. I just want a clear lap. I just want a clear time ahead of me. Don't care about the track temperature. Don't care about the track grip. Just don't want to encounter traffic. As we see Scam around the last couple of corners. I think he's a dark horse for pole here. It takes a lot of curb, but keeps it very planted. Very quick line through there for the VCARB driver. He's had one pole already. Can he get another? He can. Well, it's not pole. It's not the S7-R4, but it's a 32.0, I should say. 2/10 of a Fatboy Sim and a marker down for other drivers to say, can you beat me? Can you go quicker than me? We will see. I'm going to go and have a check. Who else is out at the moment? I'm going to check in on Mr. Seedy in the Alpine. 33.9, currently 7/10 off of the cutoff point. Obviously with drivers still yet to go. So we'll see what the Alpine driver can do. And then we'll check in on Vibora and the Haas as well. See if they can go straight from Q1 to Q3. Pace has gone out as well. He's in the danger zone. He's gone out a bit early. Mr. Seedy crosses the line. And it's a 33.3. Oh, he's just a 10th off of the cutoff zone. Heartbreak for the Alpine. He might have time to pit in and go again. Vibora has gone for a warm-up lap. I think he's going to go now. Yeah, 38.6, a warm-up lap. This is Vibora putting all of his eggs into one basket. He's not going to have time to pit again. He used a warm-up lap. He's not going to have fuel. He's not going to have battery. This is it. on the Haas driver. Can they pull out something? Tesco, who obviously had an issue in his flying lap, is currently out as well. Chubby Slug's just gone into the pit, so he will recharge. I think Mikel Lando is just starting his lap, as is Chiv. Rob has just come out of the pits as well. One to look out for as well. Bosch currently sitting in there with Lucalis and Fatboy Sim. They decide not to go out again. Sun is just starting to set here, so visibility will be affected, especially into T1 as the session goes on. How we go? Yeah, Pace is out. Mr. CD, Dale is out. Dale has actually just started his lap, excuse me. Vibora washes a bit wide on the exit of the straight there. Hopefully he'll get a bit of a toe to counteract it. Sector 1 is just a Chubby Slug getting out of the way. He's come out to try and set his lap time. Baz is out on his out lap, trying to warm up his tyres. You saw on the side of your screen there. Dale is also on a flying lap behind these. Mr. CD, I think, is going to pit in. I think he might not have a chance to go again. I think he's going to be pushing it for time a bit. As we have a look, Tesco has just started. I think Kev is also on a lap as well. That will be a VCARB of Pace starting his lap. So we'll see where they go. I'm going to go on board with Dale after this as we watch drivers and see can they do enough to get themselves out. Vibora has got one more corner to do. He's had 2 snaps of oversteer. Has he made it up in other parts of the track to get himself into Q3? Vibora does not improve. Stays a 34-2. And as it stands, will be knocked out unless he can pull out a masterful stroke. Dale has pitted. Dale's invalidated, so he's out. Dale... no, not out, sorry. He's not going again. Excuse me. Michelando improves to a P3 for Michelando. 32-4. Very strong time there. Chiv is going to go again. He's going to cross the line for 32-3. Displaces Michelando up in P3. So Bosch is getting himself knocked down. He doesn't have a chance to go out again. So we'll see. Luke is going out of the pits. I think he's run out of time. There's someone going into the pits. So that's Kev going into the pits. I'm going to check on Tesco here. Who is just coming to the last couple of corners now. We expect Tesco to be a bit of a dark horse in Q3 if he can make it there. Chubby Slug is just starting his lap now, I believe. Uses a lot of exit curve. Car very slightly unsettled there. Doesn't invalidate on the last corner. It looks like a good time from Tesco. It's P5. It's a 32-5 and knocks Dale out. Dale is out as it stands. Mr. CD is on track. I think he's going again. Pace sets a 32-0. Both VCARBs up there. Incredible lap from Pace. Knocks Baz out as it stands, who's currently on a lap. So Baz needs to improve by 2 tenths here to knock out Kev, who's in the pit. So Kev, I think, invalidated on his lap. He's lost his chance. Mr. CD is also rounding the final corner. Oh, he's in the pits. He's in the pits. Dale is going out. He's not going to have time. Baz, however, has 2 more corners to go. Can Baz get himself into Q3? Can he displace Kev? As it stands, Baz crosses the line to P9. It's a 32-5. Rob is going to cross the line here just to make himself safe. Goes to 31.999. So he himself safe. Baz is still in. I'm having a look. I don't think Vibora is going to have... No, Vibora pits. He's out. Chubby Slug is the last to cross the line. Can Chubby Slug knock Baz out? Can he knock him out? We will see. Chubby Slug, big snap of oversteer. He's lost all of his deployment. Luke is in the pit, so Luke doesn't need to go again. DRS open for the Ferrari driver. It goes P11. Oh, Chubby Slug is out in Q2. Big surprise there. I thought he would be into Q3, especially given his exploits last race. But, well, we saw how many places Chubby Slug gained in the last race. I fully expect him to do the same again. I would not be writing him off at this stage. But Chubby Slug is out. Kev also is out in Q2. He set a pretty decent time at the start, but I think he invalidated there. Dale is out after invalidating. Mr. CD and Vibora both knocked out in P14 and P15 as well. Valiant effort from both drivers in their first time in Q2. And currently, I think both their best starting positions as it stands as well. So a little bit of silver lining as it is. But Baz is through to P10. I think he's on track for his best qualifying. In P0, I have to check specifically what his best qualifying is. Bosch is through as well. Bosch set a very competitive time there. Obviously got knocked down a little bit. I think the track evolved a little bit towards the end there. Rob is the first driver to breach into the 31s by 1/1000th of a second, it must be said. So will we see another driver hit? I think if I'm not mistaken, I think the the time trial times were floating around a 31 exactly, 31 to 31.2. They were pretty competitive, all things considered. So I expect pole time here to be, I don't know, around a 31.5, there or thereabouts. It's difficult to say. I think drivers are definitely holding some in the pocket. I think Luke has got time in hand. I think Tesco has time in hand. I think Fatboy Sim has time in hand as well. So we'll see how they do. I notice I say "we'll see" a lot when I need to like fill this. When I'm commentating, I need to fill the dead hour. I say "we'll see" a lot. I'm very conscious of it. Your boy's learning. Your boy's learning as he's going. As my controller appears to be massively vibrating there as all the drivers navigate themselves into the pits. I'm unclear. I did see Georgie join us at some point, the other Alpine driver. I'm wondering if he's going to be joining us in the race. I'm not sure. I don't actually know how to check who's in the session. But if so, we'll have 18 drivers in the race. Points obviously to score down to 50. So if we stick with 17 drivers, assuming Georgie isn't able to join us, but yeah, obviously he does, it doesn't make a difference. Points to score down to 15th. So race winner gets 30 points, second gets 23, third gets 18, I'm not sure. And it sort of navigates its way down, and then 15th scores 1 point. We don't score points for fastest lap. A couple of our new drivers don't know that, but we removed the fastest lap point to basically match real life because we thought it was pointless as well. But, you know, it's always a point of pride having the fastest lap. It's nice having the fastest lap. And I rehydrate myself with my Morrison's own brand 4% stubby beer. Sometimes you just need a low alc stubby beer. It's very small. It's like 250 ml, but it's quite nice. And it's cheap. And we take those. Boy's going on holiday soon. And oh boy, holidays are expensive. I am just talking nonsense about my real life as we just wait for everybody to load in and see who the first to bite is. So it's a 12-minute session. 1 minute 30 lap time means that it's about 7 minutes and 30 seconds there or thereabouts to do an out lap and a full lap, depending on how careful you are on your out lap and your in lap. So I expect cars to only do 2 times here. On some tracks you can get away with doing 3 flying laps in Q3. I expect 2 times here. So I think a majority of the grid will do a time on used tyres. I've got no way of seeing if they're used. I just know they're on softs. And then they will go at the very end with the fresh softs. I think some drivers might actually do 2 flying laps on fresh softs. Because it's so easy to invalidate here, you almost want your banker to be really competitive, because if you set a lap on used softs where you're a little bit careful, you just want the banker lap down, and you go again and you're only other run in Q3 on the fresh softs and you invalidate, well then you're only time on the boards with the used softs. So if you've saved them, it's good to use them. Again, I'm not entirely sure. It's a competitive race tyre. I'm not sure which compound they use in COTA, but I'm speaking more in the trend of the game, really. I mean, in the last season of P0, I think the softs were very rarely used. I think some people may. I think it was used in Mexico, off the top of my head. But medium hard is the pretty common standard here. The tyre wear is quite aggressive here. You've got the very quick S's through the first sector there, and you've got this very quick right-hander. I think it's T17, T20. I'm not sure the corner names off the top of my head. As you can see, Fatboy Sim go through now, the corner, which I can put a lot of load on the tyres. So a 2-stop is maybe viable here. I'm not sure. But what we are going to do is we're going to watch Fatboy Sim set his first time on the board. DRS Open. I think a potential favourite for pole, so we'll see how he does. In fact, we're going to go on the T-cam here. All the brake markers have been knocked off, but he's braked at about the 100-metre mark. Don't necessarily need to touch the curb there if you can get on throttle early. Don't upset the car too much on the exit curbs. As we approach the S's here, you can use a lot of the inside curbs, which you can't invalidate. He's flat through here, he's flat through here, he's downshifting twice here, but not braking unless he has to. Another downshift, another lift. Now it's brake down to 4th gear. He's dropped it to 3rd, actually. Use the curb to rotate the car. Don't invalidate on the left-hand side. Don't invalidate on the exit. Breathe in. Don't invalidate on that curb there. And then pick your braking point. It's about 80 meters hard on the brakes. Turn in. Use a little bit of the curb. Get on throttle now. Don't use the exit curb too much because it'll upset the car, especially if you're on TC. Battery on. DRS open and you just keep your right tire on the right-hand line here, you can see he's actually going over it because the track moves shape. It's very slightly curved, so he's got his car in the perfect place to brake at the 100-meter mark without scrubbing too much speed. You can cut that corner, but his tires just squealed on him a little bit. He couldn't get it in. He's going to drop it down to second here. Turn in. Don't wash too wide. Get the car all the way over to the right. Ignore that curve. Ignore that curve. Hard brake. As soon as you see the one on the left, turn in. Use the camber. Don't touch the exit curve because it'll upset the car. And you are flat all the way through here. All the way through the gears. You can use battery here all the way up to 7th gear. He's keeping it really close to the right-hand side. You can dip a tire in the green. He does it. It's a downshift quick. Uses the curb. Keeps it putting in a straight line. Keeps it safe on the curve of the exit. Use the curve on the inside to turn the car. Get the DRS open, cross the line, and it's a 31.944, the fastest lap time so far. But can it be disrupted? Mika Lando is the next to cross the line here. I think it'll be Chiv following him. So Mika Lando sets a 32.4. Lucalis sets a 31.8. 31.8, the first into 31.8s from Lucalis there. Baz comes in with a 33.3. Tesco on the Mercedes car sets a 32.2, and then it'll be Chiv in the McLaren, who crosses the line with a 32.4. Rob will come over next. And then it'll be Skarma, potentially, or Pace, I'm not sure. We'll see. So Rob crosses the line in just a moment. DRS on, dumps the battery, 32.0. Pace is just coming around here, so I'll check on Skarma, who crosses the line. It's a 31.9. So nobody can get near Luke as it stands into the 8s by 6/1000. Bosch is actually invalidated, excuse me, so I think he might decide to go again. Pace is the last one to cross the line. Again, keeps it very close to the right-hand side here. How aggressive is he going to be here? I think he braked very slightly, but uses a lot of exit curve to maintain the speed. Pace has looked very speedy so far. Can he set a competitive time here? It's a 32.0. Oh, and breathe. There's 1/10 between 2nd and 5th. Very, very, very close indeed, isn't it? Bosch is going to go again as the sun sets here in Austin, Texas. He's got the fuel to go again. He's got the battery. We'll see what Bosch can do. We'll go on broadcast view for the last 2 sectors. Set a pretty good time in Q2. Didn't go out again. Didn't feel like he needed to. Managed to get in P9 in Q2. Let's see if he can do where he can qualify. I think he's got a career best of P3 in Abu Dhabi last season. He did well in Miami last season as well. Let's see what the kick driver can do. That's beautiful rotation on the car there. You can see how low they ride the car to the ground. Looking at that floor there. You need the downforce in this track. Does well not to lose the car. Doesn't invalidate either. Let's see what the kick driver can do. Puts it P8. 32.4. 4/1000ths ahead of Chiv. Who's out on track? That's Pace out on track now, who's just pitting in. And that is your first round. So Bosch has got to go around again. If he holds his car around, he might very well get away with pitting in. It's going to be pretty close, actually, for the kick driver, but we'll see what he can do. As it stands, Lucalis in the McLaren with a 31.8, the only driver to get into the 31.8s so far, on for his first pole position of the season, especially because he didn't pick up a single pole position last season. It'll be his first pole in about 30 races, I think. Skarma, also with a very tidy time of 31.90. Fatboy Sim with a 31.94. And then Rob just a few 100ths behind him with a 32.0. Pace matching him a few 100ths behind as well with a 32.09. So that is specifically... Yeah, that is what? That's less than a 10th. Or about a 10th, I should say, actually. Between... the 2/10, excuse me. 2/10 between... No, 1.5 tenths. I've got a degree in maths. Can you believe it? I've actually got a degree in maths. I'm genuinely not even joking, and I can't do simple maths. It's very close between P2 and P5. Tesco just a few tenths off of P5 there. Michelangelo a few tenths off him, but very close with Bosch and Chiv as well. And then Baz in P10 with a 33.3 with a bit more time in pocket, I think. And now we wait. Who's the first to blink? We've had it. The first to blink is going. I think it's Baz in the Williams. It is. So Baz says, I want to go out first. I want a clear track. I want the whole place to myself so I can set the best lap time that I think I can do. Bosch has made it into the pit, so he's just going to have enough time to get it out again. But we are going to be on board with Baz. This is the only car we can go on board with. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left of the session. Every driver will only get one run here. You cannot invalidate now, or you're in big, big trouble. Especially if you're lower down the grid, or maybe out of position, or if you feel you're out of position anyway, if you've got more time in pocket. Some drivers, again, might be on the worn tyres. These times might not be entirely representative. We'll see. I've got no way of knowing how many tyres have been used. As Baz gives us a show for the camera as we are playing a game of chicken in the pits. Who is going to be the first driver to go? Who wants to lead the train out? Because you want to be the last one on track here. I know it hasn't rained. I know the track is still a little bit green there or thereabouts. But you want to be the last one across the line. You get the best track condition. And I think that might be Mika Lando who's pulled the trigger. Or Rob, one of the Aston Martins. I've put a 50-50 bet on Mika Lando, and it is Mika Lando who's gone out. He also wants some space. And Tesco comes out, and they're going to start filtering out now. So Baz will encounter a bit of traffic on their lap. I'm curious to see what the Williams driver can do. We will stay on board with the Williams driver in broadcast cam. McLaren has gone out there. And we're just going to start see drivers filtering out now. Both McLaren's out. I'm going to go on board, though, with the Baz. We're not going to look at any cars on their out lap. We're going to watch the Williams driver, who's going to try and fight for his best qualifying positions in P0 as he starts his lap. We'll encounter a bit of traffic on the first apex, but should be okay. Keeps the throttle on nicely. McLaren's getting out of the way. Love the dark blue of this Williams here. I can't wait for this angle over the hill here as he comes through the S's. There it is. Touch the curb. Touch the curb. Touch the curb again. Touch another curb. Oh, he's taken a little bit too much of it. He's kept it fine. He hasn't invalidated. Very confident driving from the former Haas driver. Keeps it very nicely through that corner there. He's done the hard bit through Sector 1 here. He's got one braking zone and then a long straight and then a couple more technical corners. So let's see how he does. I'm not sure if he's up at this time. I won't be able to tell. Only he will know in the car. And it's the horrible bit now, especially when the adrenaline's running and you're trying to fight for that good position. You're just waiting for your chance to keep going again, because it's all about the braking zone here. Does he take a little bit of curb? I think he took a little bit of it, but keeps it off the exit as he navigates to the last sector here. Very, very clumsy sector it can be. You've got to be really in tune with your car here. Got to know where your turning point is, where the limits of the grip is. Very nicely done through the dip in the apex there. Flat through this corner here. He's going to keep it all the way tucked to the right-hand side as he comes around here. How much curb is he going to use there? He keeps it safe on curb. He used a lot in the entrance. It's one more corner to go for the Williams driver as he rounds the final corner, and Baz sets a 32.6. He's improved his time considerably, but it's not enough. He will start P10 for the Williams driver as Lucalis looks to start his lap. I think Chiv is going to get a very tasty tow from his McLaren teammate as well, and they're all starting to queue to build their gap. But we're going to see Chiv as he picks up a lovely tow from Lucalis. He just needs to keep up with him. So Fatboy Sim has started his lap. Rob is going to start his lap as well as Mika Lando is out on his lap. We might look at where Mika Lando is. Yeah, Mika Lando's going down the straight now. He's just got one more sector to go. And that is a who's that last cross line? Was that Pace or Skarma? It was Pace. Was the last cross the line with just a few seconds left. So he will be the one to look out for. We're going to watch Mika Lando as he goes around. There's Tesco behind him as well. So we'll see. Yeah, Tesco hasn't invalidated, so we'll see. The flag is out. So the flag is out. This is it. Every driver on track, with the exception of Baz, is on their last lap. Baz will start P10 at best. He'll be the next to take the flag, as Mika Lando goes very well through the final couple of corners. Can he improve on his position from P7? Where is Mika Lando going to put his car? It's P4. It's a 32.0 for Mika Lando. Tesco next across the line displaces him with a 31.9. Lucalis, the one to watch. Can he improve on his 31.8? A very, very strong lap time from the McLaren driver. Very confident lap time. as we're going to watch the other drivers behind. Chiv will be the next to cross the line after him, who's, again, had this beautiful toe all the way through. Baz is in the pits to take the flag. Fatboy Sim is also going to be the one to watch out for after these two McLaren drivers. Luke, so much grip there. Improves to a 31.5. Chiv with a 31.1. So, can Fatboy Sim do enough? No, it's a 31.9 for him. Rob improves to a 31.6. Skarma crosses the line with a 31.7. Pace is invalidated, and Bosch will take P9. So Pace at the end wasn't able to improve, and Lucalis is on pole, his first pole position for it must be almost 30 races for the McLaren driver. A brilliant run there. Lucalis on pole, Rob in P2, about a 10.5 behind him, and then, what is that, about half a tenth behind him, Skarma. Fatboy Sim can only do a 31.9, just a few 100s ahead of Tesco, who stays P5. Chiv got in between those two drivers with a 31.9. Michelando with the first and the 32 zeros. Pace invalidated, so couldn't improve. Bosch stays at a 32.4. Baz with a 32.6 and P10. And boy, have we got a race on our hands here. Will Luke win his second race in a row? We've got 28 laps to find out. That was a pretty good qualifying session, lads. Thank you all for watching along with me. I don't know why I'm saying thank you. We've got a whole race to go. Luke, very, very, very strong driver. Nearly won the league, won the championship last season despite getting a single pole. He can pick up points everywhere. He is such a consistent driver, and he just always ekes that car into like P5 at a minimum. He just keeps his nose clean, he keeps the penalties out, he's got enough pace to just be floating in there. Didn't even need the poles. He won the most amount of races last season without a single pole position. Says a lot, doesn't it? But he's got his pole. Mighty congratulations to the McLaren driver. Let's see what he can do. Couple drivers to look out for here. I think Pace, starting down in P8, I think, will be able to pick up a few places. I think Chubby Slug will make his way up the field. Gio, who's starting at the back of the grid, I believe, in P17, I expect him to make his way up as well. Did very good getting positions in Zandvoort. And he did well in the Portugal Sprint as well. Obviously had the issues in the race, unfortunately for him. So 15 places up for grabs here, 4 points. 16th and 17th will not score points. So we'll see. Maybe we have a few invalidates. And I'm just having a look there, and it looks like Georgie is going to be with us. So Georgie, the Alpine driver, looks like he's been automatically put into the Red Bull car because he joined us a bit late. Not a lot we can do to control that, but he's with us. He's effectively served his qualifying ban that he was issued, so he will start last. So he's 18th. We'll have 18 drivers on the grid. For those of you who are competing in the league, obviously Georgie will score points for the Alpine should he finish in the points today. We can't control the fact he's in the Red Bull, so that's fine. I expect him to be able to gain a few positions as well as we start off for our formation lap. Let's have a look at the tyres. So mediums from first all the way down to 10th. So Chubby Slug is chucked on the hards. Mediums then down to P16. Devereaux and Gio both put on the hards. Georgie on the mediums as well. So I expect... so Chubby's going to try and go long. I think it's a one-stop. I think it's a medium-hard one-stop here. I'm sure we might have the little thing pop up in a minute. I tell you what, it looks like the session started a bit sooner than was anticipated, so I'm not sure how many drivers had a chance to choose their strategy. But we will see. So people have been told, haven't they? But yes, Lucalis leading us down. It's a 1 minute 30, I think it's a 1:35 race lap here, maybe 1:31, maybe 1:34. I'm not sure off the top of my head. It depends on how worn the tires are. Yeah, so everyone just taking an opportunity to get some heat into those tires. I'm gonna go on board here. Yeah, so you can see Lucalis struggling to get a bit of tire. He's filling in the 60s and 70 degrees there. I think Rob behind him isn't too far off. Yeah. Very, very difficult to warm up your tyres here. There we are. So medium hard. Apparently, soft is viable here if you fancy the two-stop. It's a fairly short pit stop here, so if you're in traffic, you can two-stop. It hasn't been that viable in the game, in terms of the game meta, if that's the sort of path you want to go down, but it's reasonably as possible because it's a short pit stop here. As we see the drivers all line themselves up. Everybody just desperately trying to get some heat into those tyres. As we await the cars to take their positions. And I'm curious to see. Rob is probably in a more favourable position here to send it up the inside. This brilliant view of the grid, isn't it? Look at this. V-Carb's in line. McLaren's in line. It's 28 laps of COTA. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we go in COTA. And Rob gets a very good start alongside Lucalis. But Lucalis, I think, gets an even better start. Look at the Ferrari go down the inside of the Aston Martin. Fatboy Sim has gone from P4, potentially to P2. But Skarma sticks it around the outside and keeps position. So Fatboy Sim has moved up ahead of Rob there. He's done very well to take position. Skarma is absolutely hounding the back of that McLaren driver as they go through the S's. All drivers keeping it very neat and tidy, I think. We'll have a look here. Can we see the position change? Yeah, there we are. So Gio's moved up all the way to P11 as Dale's gone down. Dale has had an incident. Vibora's picked up a time penalty as well. Gio's had a brilliant start there. I think someone got into a bit of trouble in the start there. We'll have to see we'll potentially see the replays later on. Kev has also moved up 4 positions as well, and there's Vibora who's gone down as well. I'm having a look. Fatboy Sim is just looking at the back of the V-Carb there, decides against it. Gio has done brilliantly to get ahead of that pack there. Bosch looks like he goes down the inside of Pace. Those two are fighting. Pace is alongside and ahead of the Kick driver. Those two have been absolutely hounding each other there. Gio with a bit of a snap in the background. As we have a look up and down the grid, Georgie's also made up 6 positions, so some sort of incident at the start has pulled a lot of drivers up. Baz has dropped 5 positions from P10 to P15 as Dale is going alongside Devereaux there. He was. Devereaux keeps the position. And now the DRS, it will be enabled. So Dale maybe had a look up the inside there. So we'll see if Luke is going to be able to defend against Skarma from the DRS. But I tell you what, Fatboy Sim very well might be the one attacking Skarma here as we have a look. I think that was Fatboy Sim. No, I thought that was Rob going alongside the McLaren driver. There, Chiv is pretty close to the Mercedes. I thought he was going to pass him there. That would have been a very ambitious move. Pace is also just hounding the back of Kev there in the Mercedes. Having a look up another go. Chubby is very close to the back of Georgie, so we expect to see a move there. We're going to see plenty of moves happen on this pit straight, I think. But I kind of want to go on board with Fatboy Sim here. Skarma's going to get a dose of DRS on the McLaren driver. I don't know if he's going to be close enough to make a move as Luke tries to break the toe. Looks like he's burning a bit of battery there, and I think they're all going to stay single file. So Tesco is going defensive as Mika Lando makes the pass on the Mercedes driver. Mercedes, he's still looking up the inside there. You can just about see he might be able to keep the position. Is he going to go around the outside of the Aston Martin? Very close racing here. But Mika Lando defends very well from the Mercedes. Kev choosing not to overtake his teammate Pace. Close right upon them. A little bit of a nibble of the rear tyre as well for good measure as Bosch is there. Georgie did make the pass on Gio. I think that was on the straight. Skarma's picked up 3 seconds worth of time penalties. Just 2 laps. Vibora, another driver, picked up time penalties. It's really, really, really easy to pick them up here. As we have a look, Mika Lando has gone slightly wide there. Tesco looks for the switchback. He's got DRS. He's using his battery. They're going to go side by side. You see him right at the top of your picture there. Tesco's going to go down the inside of T1. Is he going to make the move stick? He takes a little bit of curb and does make the move stick. But Mika Lando's going to fight him back as they go side by side through the S's in sector 1. There's not room for 2 cars here. Surely Tesco keeps the position very authoritatively. Well done there. Bosch is the one who's picked up a couple of another 3-second time penalty as well, and I expect many cars are going to be picking up time penalties here, I must say. So yeah, 3 seconds across the board. So we'll keep that on for the moment. Chiv has found himself a little bit of a gap as Rob looks like he's very close on the back here. They're all pretty close together. Skarma is still staying on the back of Lucas. Lucas hasn't managed to break the toe. Rob is gaining on Fatboy Sim. Probably isn't close enough to make a move. He isn't. He's not close to make a move. But looking at the background there, that's Michelando and Tesco going side by side again. Tesco defends to the inside. These two are having a brilliant battle. Leaves a room, but Michelando gets better drive off the corner. Tesco's going to try and take it all the way around the outside of them. There's a little bit of contact there. He has to concede. No, he doesn't. He goes up the inside again. This is brilliant driving from these two here. Michelando will keep the position going through. They're going to do it all over again. This is a brilliant fight. Tesco looks like he's got up the inside again. Brilliant stuff. Having a look up back here, Georgie looks like he might be able to make a move. Mr. Cedi's another driver's picked up 2-second time penalties, as has Chubby's. Look how close they are here. Pace is very close to Kev. Bosch very close to him. Georgie's going to sit back and watch all of this happen as Tesco and Michelando go side by side again up the top here. This is the battle to watch. Kev might have a look on the switchback. He doesn't. Michelando switches back on Tesco though, and they go side by side again through Sector 1. Michelando this time on the more favourable line, and Tesco has to concede the position. Brilliant driving from them. You can see how close it is. Bosch has managed to get past Pace. I think Bosch was ahead of him there. Fibora makes a pass for Dale in the background. No, Dale is off, I think. Dale has had a spin. Dale has had a spin. He's fallen down to the back of the grid. Heartbreak for the Red Bull driver. I'm going to go way back up to the top of the grid here, see if anyone else is close enough to make a move. Not necessarily. Lucas is just ever so slightly eking that position back. Pace and Georgia going side by side here. Georgia is stuck right on the back of the Bosch. There's 3 wide going down the straight here. This is going to be a brilliant chance here. Pace might have a chance to overtake the pair of them. Bosch has been passed. Pace is still side by side with the Red Bull driver. Pace breaks first. Going to get to the apex first. I think he's done all right. I think Georgie is just... Georgie goes to roll. It's a send from the Red Bull driver to get the position past Pace there. Pace is going to go down the inside of him again. Oh, the drivers are all over the track here. So Tesco, Kev has passed Tesco. Excuse me. Goodness, there's so much passing going on here. So Tesco, I think, has fallen back because of his battery. Fatboy Sim is very close to the back of Skarma. We could see a move happen there. And Pace was able to defend his position to Georgie, who is going to be under pressure from Bosch, who was also under pressure from Chubby Slug there. It's all very close indeed. Bunching up to this back here. Gio is very close behind them as well. Having a look up the field here. Tesco. Kev thought about a move on Michelando, didn't it? Vibora's picked up a time penalty for good measure. Having a look. Skarma is still close to Lucas. Fatboy Sim and Chiv. They're all still staying where they are. Chiv is in no man's land. 3 seconds either side of him. Michelando is currently leading the train from Kev to Tesco. Got past his teammate at some point there. We can see Pace, then Georgie, Bosch, Chubby Slug. Look how close he is to the back of that kick driver. Gio just a few tenths behind them, and Mr. Cedi just in DRS zone as well. Chubby Slug could go for a very audacious move down into the straight here. He's using his battery. He's going to go down the inside of the kick driver and makes the move stick. Ferrari driver there is actually he's actually under fire there from Gio, that is. Yeah, so Gio and Bosch are side by side. We'll get a dose of DRS. I think Bosch has DRS as well, but he's just got no battery to fight. And Gio makes the pass. And there's a big move going on at the top there. That's Kev who looked to have a go up the other side of his teammate. Georgie having a look up the inside of Pace as well. He's going to get the traction. They're side by side going through Sector 3 here. A lot of very close racing going. Pace defends the position. Georgie's going to try and get the switchback. Is he going to have enough to have a go? There's no room for him. And he just lets back ever so slightly. Tesco got past his teammate there. Sorry, I got the Mercedes drivers mixed up. So Tesco made a move on his teammate. And we all go again. It's as you were up the top there. I am keeping an eye on the time to see if there's any move. Fatboy Sim very close, but not close enough to make a move. Rob falling back very slightly. Lucas not able to break the DRS. We'll see who's making a move up there. It's Tesco going down the inside of Michelando once again here. And makes the move stick this time. That was a Georgie going wide there. He's passed by Chubby Slug. So Chubby Slug has passed him, but Pace is going side by side with Kev. He's going to have a look up the inside. No room there, says Kev. Get over onto the curb, he says. Bosch makes the pass back on Gio. No, Gio's gone down. Gio's fallen all the way back to the grid there. He's had some sort of incident. He was passed by Bosch, Mr. Cedi and Baz there. Having a look, Georgie there. has got Bosch for company. Chubby Slug is just gaining on them. Michelando's repassed Tesco. Tesco, I think, let him go there to have the dose of DRS. Michelando's gone wide of the apex there. Tesco might get a very much better run here. Just tentative on the throttle, but Kev is very close, and alongside his teammate, Skarma has made a pass on Lucullus at the end of this straight. As this happened, is you see Pace go past Kev there. Pace is going to have a look on the inside. Is he? No, he backs out of it. Oh, he's collided. He's collided with Tesco. He's missed his braking. Chubby Slug there is going to have a look at the inside of Pace through Sector 3 here. Georgie sits behind them. Tesco still maintains position. Chubby Slug is going to go around the outside. Pace defends the inside. A little bit of contact. Pace has had a spin. He's ghosted. He's going to regain position in a minute as Chubby Slug does pass. The Chubby Slug does pass the VCARB driver, yes. So Michelando, Tesco, and Kev has been shuffled all the way back there from P8 to P11. That's how close it got. Chubby Slug goes wide. At the top there, Skarma has made a pass for the lead. Lucullus is going to be under pressure, but Chubby Slug is going to have a look at Tesco there. Chubby Slug is past Tesco as Michelando is recharging his battery. Oh, my throat is hurting at this. Tesco picks up 3 seconds of time penalties, and they're all picking them up now. I do want to keep an eye here. I think Fatboy Sim is going to have a go on Lucullus, who might have a go on Skarma. They're all getting very bunched together up there now. I'm going to go on board with Rob, who has saved a boatload of his battery. As it stands, is he going to make a move? Skarma's pulled a little bit on the exit there. Fatboy Sim is also just recharging their battery, biding their time. We're going to go on board here. We'll see. Skarma, I didn't think getting best of exits. Lucullus is in the DRS. Is he going to be close enough to make a move? He goes alongside, but Fatboy Sim has got even more drive on them. They both pass Skarma, but Fatboy Sim is on the outside here. Is he going to make a move on Lucullus? They both break. Lucullus has the inside line. Fatboy Sim, I think, is just going to let him go. And Skarma keeps the position over Rob. Chubby Slug has just made a pass for Michelando on the pit there. Yes, so Tesco looks like he's going on to the outside line there, around the outside of Michelando. A bit of argy-bargy. Pace is still trying to fight for his position. Georgie almost runs into the back of the VCARB driver. And it is all happening here. Fatboy Sim is absolutely fierce the other gearbox. I think Skarma's repassed Fatboy Sim at some point in the S's there as I switched away with them. But I wanted to go on board with this battle here. They're all within about 2 or 3 tenths of each other. It's a car that's got a little bit wide. That's Michelando who's got a bit wide there, who might lose his place. We're going to look at Tesco here, just a bit hesitant on throttle. Pace is also right on the back of them. Tesco recharging. Pace might go for a move here. Michelando does pick up the... that was Bosch in the pit. So Bosch is to the pits. Bosch's pit. Georgie looks to go on the attack. Breaks very late there. Pace is goes to block him there. Block pass, excuse me. Not block him, but Georgie, they're going to go side by side now. Through the... I've got the camera there. Pace and Georgie are still side by side. Pace keeps the position. A very good overtake from the VCARB driver there. These two have got absolute hammer and tongue. Lucullus has managed to pass back Skarma. So there's all sorts of drama going up at the top of the grid there that I've been missing up here. So we're going to have a look. So Lucullus got past. Skarma is at risk of Fatboy Sim, who's right in the toe of Skarma. He's going to move to the left-hand side. Is he going to have enough to make a move there? He dips back into it. Is he going to send it up the inside? He decides against it. More time penalties down the grid. That's Vibora who's picked one up. And it's as you were at the top there. Michelando. Tesco closing in on Michelando. Georgie closing in on Pace. I want to see where this battle goes here. Pace looks to defend the inside line. Georgie's going to break deep. Pace very defensive again. But Georgie just gets a little bit better traction on the cutback. But Pace is going to take the better line. Georgie's going to try to go around the outside of him. There's not a lot of grip out there. And Pace, I think, is just going to keep the position. Is Georgie going to set up the inside of Pace there? Pace is going to go around the outside for the better traction. Michelando is still side by side with Tesco, and it's all going on here. Pace has got a much better drive out of the exit there. So that is Lucullus, who is in the pits, I think. Lucullus in the pits. So he's gone. And Michelando in the pits as well. So they've taken off the medium tyres. They don't want them. So Lucullus, I think, pit from the lead there. I'm not able to see. Are they in the pit? There we go. Yeah, so they're putting on the hard tyres now. As I'm just having a look, Pace looked at the close at the back of Tesco there, but didn't decide against the move. So it's, to recap, after 9 laps, excuse me, so Skarma leads, Fatboy Sim very close behind, Rob very close behind, Luke pitted from the lead, so he should keep the position. Shiv is in no man's land. Chubby Slug has managed to pull away from that battle. Tesco currently leads from Pace, as Michelando pit as well, excuse me, so Michelando pit. Bosch also pit. Vibora's in pit. Devereaux pit. Lucullus pit. Lucullus has come out behind Gio. So Lucullus is fully in traffic there, I think, if I can find him on the thing there. Yeah, so Lucullus has got a bit of traffic to deal with, but should be able to pass it on the straight, I would imagine. He's clear of Mr. CD. He just needs to pass the Haas driver now, who does have DRS, but Luke, I think, is going to make a move past the Haas driver on the fresher tyres. Pace, Tesco has been shuffled a bit back there, I think. Yeah, so Georgie, again, down the inside of Pace. These two have been absolutely beating 7 shades of something else out of each other. Georgie then looking on the inside, trying to find alternative lines. Tesco might just have a go at him there. Has to just get out of the throttle. Fatboy Sim has managed to make a pass. No, Fatboy Sim's in the pits, excuse me. So Fatboy Sim is in the pits. He's pit. Rob and Skarma stay out. Georgie has managed to come out ahead of Tesco. Lucullus makes the pass on Kev as well. So is Fatboy Sim going to come out anywhere near Lucullus here? We'll stay on board with Lucullus as lots more penalties come down. Fatboy Sim is just coming out of the pits on the left-hand side of your screen now. No, Lucullus passes with plenty of time on the Ferrari driver there. He's going to go down the inside. He's not that far. No, yeah, look at that. He's still about a tenth and a half away. He's got 2 cars between him. So massive pit gains from Lucullus there. Fatboy Sim, I think, was the closer driver to him. And Lucullus has managed to not only pull a pit stop on Kevin Gio, but Fatboy Sim has to deal with both of these drivers as well. So go back up here. Tesco, Pace, and Georgie are still fighting for position. I expect them to pit fairly soon. Chubby Slug is still out on the hard tyres. Gio, very close fighting with him there. I think Gio might be even making a move on Kev down into the corner before the straight. And I think Fatboy Sim might get the cutback of both of them there. But look at, he's lost about 2.5 seconds he's lost to Lucullus there, so he's in trouble. He needs to really start leading in Luke there. Fatboy Sim, I think, is going to set it up the inside of both of them. Lucullus makes the pass on Tesco, so Fatboy Sim passes Kev, brakes more authoritatively than Gio there on the fresher tyre, makes the move stick. So Lucullus is going to encounter these two who have been fighting. He's past Tesco. He'll take an opportunity to recharge his battery, I'd imagine. Up and down the grid, Shiv also came out there ahead of Michelando, so he's maintained his position ahead of the Aston Martin driver there. Dale is still out. Mr. CD has come out in P17 as well. Pace just looking to pull away a bit. Rob and Skarma have both pit. So I think they will come up behind Fatboy Sim after all stands. So Chubby Slug takes the lead of the race. Still yet to pit on those hard tyres. Lucullus is going to have to deal with these two fighting, I would imagine. Fatboy Sim now, as we see, comes out ahead of Rob. So he does. Fatboy Sim comes out ahead of Rob, just ahead of Rob, it must be said. And look at that, that's Gio going to fighting alongside the Aston Martin driver. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of room there. Tesco is pit from behind that battle, so he's decided not to go for it. Pace, Georgie are the only ones still left out on the medium times apart from Dale. Skarma picks up another 3-second time penalty. So he's got 6 seconds of penalties to deal with. I want to go back up the top here. Georgie very close to Pace. Lucullus close to the pair of them. Lucullus will probably try and get them both on the pit straight here. Dale has pit, so Lucullus gets a lot better traction than the Red Bull driver there. Is he going to be able to make the pass? Using a bit of battery, using a bit of DRS. They're both gaining on the VCARB driver. Lucullus, I think, is going to make this stick. Is he going to try and pass the VCARB driver as well? We will see. Is he confident at the brakes? No, he's going to stay on the inside. And Pace has a bit of issue on the exit there because of how worn his tyres is. Is he going to be able to go around the outside? I don't know if Georgie's fighting this too much. I don't think he is. He's letting Lucullus have that, not his battle. Georgie might try and use this as an opportunity to try and get a gain on Pace, depending on how Pace has to let Luke by. Although Pace has no obligation to. They are fighting for position, technically. We'll see which driver comes into the pits. Skarma and Rob very close to Fatboy Sim. Fatboy Sim is getting quite close to Georgie now. So any time game... So Pace goes into the pits. So any time game that Luke had has been slightly undone... as Fatboy Sim gets DRS here. I don't know if Rob is going to be close enough to make a move. He isn't. Skarma not making a move there. Fatboy Sim not close enough. But Fatboy Sim can see Lucullus in his mirrors now. He outbrakes himself ever so slightly. It must be said of the Ferrari driver. Rob is very close. I don't know if he's going to be close enough to make a move. So Lucullus is 1/10 ahead of Georgie. He's broken the DRS. And Fatboy Sim is, what, 5/10 behind Georgie now? So Lucullus might be able to regain his the time he gained coming out of the pits, depending on how Fatboy Sim can navigate this traffic. Rob very close, looking for an opportunity to make the move. Skarma sitting behind as well. Fatboy Sim is going to go down the inside of him before this straight, and Rob is going to sit back and say, tell you what, I'm going to take a double dose of DRS here. Fatboy Sim makes the move past, but he's put himself under pressure. No, he does get DRS on Georgie, managed to make the move past in time. Rob, however, oh, there's a bit of contact between Georgie, who managed to touch the Ferrari driver there. All sorts going on, but Rob is going to go down the inside of the Ferrari driver, says, thank you very much, I'll take that. So, Georgie getting in the way there has meant that the Ferrari has lost the position. Rob now 2 seconds off of Luke. Having a look way down in the background, outside of this battle, Tesco has just made a pass on Bosch on the slightly fresher tyres. Devereaux is still out on the hards. I think he started on the hards. Yeah, you see him and Gio started on the hards. Skarma is actually very close to the back of Georgie here. I don't know if he's going to try and make a move. Chubby Slug picks up another couple of penalties as well as we have a look here. Yeah, so Rob is going to start. Georgie pits. So Georgie comes out. We'll see if his battle has put him at risk to Pace. We're going to drop Dak down here. So Pace following these through here. Is he going to come out ahead of that Alpine driver? We'll see. As Pace has had his own issue to deal with. Rob, it looks like he's probably just maintaining the pace at the moment. I'm curious to see. So Georgie's starting to reel out of the pits now. Pace is going to get a bit of battery. He's going to get a bit of DRS. You're going to see the car on your left-hand side. No, you're not, because Pace has made the move past, and he's made the move back down on Bosch. And Pace has managed to put himself a few seconds and a car ahead of his rival there. Still behind Michelando, but still touching positions of Tesco there. I think it's 5/10. The VCARB driver is there, but with no penalties. Both drivers carrying penalties. Bosch behind as well, getting stuck in the dirty air. So to recount then, as we had the first sort of run of pit stops go through, Chubby Slug on the hard tyre currently leads, being wheeled in by Luke Lascelles. Those hards are quite old, as we see a pass there, as Chiv makes the pass on Gio, I think. Yeah, so Chiv makes a pass on Gio. But yes, Chubby Slug extending on the hards. He'll go to the mediums later. Luke in the net lead of the race as it stands. Rob Wills 2.5 seconds behind the McLaren driver. Fatboy Sim a couple of tenths behind Rob, as well as we see Pace make a move on Tesco in the pit straight in the background. We'll get to that in a minute. Skarma behind Fatboy Sim, carrying some penalties as well. Chiv 5 seconds behind those. Gio just behind him, but also still yet to pit, as is Devereaux, also still yet to pit. Safety car will be very good for these drivers here. Michelando, who was leading that train of cars fighting in the mid-pack at the beginning of the race, leads it as it stands, 1.3 seconds ahead of Pace. Tesco is also behind him after being passed by Pace there. Bosch is also behind, both carrying penalties. Georgie has 4 seconds of clean air to catch up to. Mr. CD down in P14, Baz P15 in the last point-scoring races. Kev has fallen down to P16 on the hard tyres after pitting. Vibora down in P17, 11 seconds behind P16, carrying some penalties as well. And the Dale, who had a spin earlier on, just catching up to the Haas driver now in P18. So, having a look, where are the main battles? Skarma is following this battle all the way up. Fatboy Sim decided he might make a move on Rob just to try and gain on Lukelis, because I tell you what, Rob hasn't made any gains. Lukelis catching up to Chubby Slug now. Chiv is kind of on his own there a little bit. We're having a look. Michelando is just being caught up by Pace. Michelando recharging his battery, but Pace does have Tesco for company very close by. So Pace needs to be in the time penalty, the DRS window for Michelando to defend himself. Though he get good run out of the exit of the S's there, as Mr. CD picks up a 3-second time penalty. Bosch has just fallen out of DRS of Tesco there, with Georgie gaining on there. So Pace is dumping his battery down. He's got his DRS open. Is he going to be able to make a move? He's gaining on the Aston Martin. He's gaining on the Aston Martin. Is he going to have enough to make the move? He moves over to the left-hand side, goes down the inside. And Michelando doesn't fight that one too much. Vibora picks up a couple more time penalties for good measure. Tesco sticks behind there. Michelando's going to go back on the attack of Pace here. I think he was just letting him go to recharge his battery. Lukelis is just getting stuck behind Chubby Slug a little bit there, which might reel in those chasing cars. We'll see. Although Luke will make the move on Chubby Slug on the pit straight there, I'd imagine. This is where their main battle is right now, as we do see Lukelis make a move on Chubby Slug there and puts another car of traffic in between him and the chasing pack as well. Lukelis does also carry a 3-second time penalty as it stands. So Tesco is just sticking back here, but Michelando also in the DRS there. Pace has managed to get good pace to pull away. And he's just closing on the Williams driver there, so he's going to get a bit of DRS on the pit strip. He's also going to have some fierce traffic here. I want to go on board with this camera here. I love seeing the cars crest over the hill. How is Pace going to navigate? This is a bad place to pick up traffic through the S's. Look at them snake through Beautiful couple of corners here. Pace is just having to be a bit careful on the throttle here as to not catch up too much to him. He wants to be able to pass him on the straight, but he doesn't want to put himself too much at risk to Mika Lando, who is closed up quite a lot. Excuse me there. Tesco as well, who's... I think he had a little bit of a moment there. He was a bit out of position coming out. So Mika Lando is very close to Pace. But Pace is very close to Devereaux there. So, having a look up and down the field, those cars are very close together. Pace goes alongside the Williams. Mika Lando also goes alongside, but isn't going to be close enough to make a move. I tell you what's going on up here, though. Chubby Slug is actually staying pretty close to Lucalis there. And Rob was keeping up with Chubby Slug. They were a bit bunched up. Lucalis, I think, has just had the grip to pull away a little bit, but it looked like Chubby Slug pits. Chubby Slug's off the hard tires, frees up Rob there. But I tell you what, that was not brilliant for Lucalis there, because Rob has actually gained, that was about half a second gain on Lucalis there as he navigated the traffic. So we'll see if he's got enough to make his way through. 12 laps left to go. Chubby Slug's going to run those for 12 laps. I expect to see Gio Devereaux in as well. So let's have a look where we are. So Lucalis still leading. He's got to start building that gap. Skarma, Fatboy Sim just sticking on the back of Rob as well. Gio, let's have a look. So Chubby Slug has actually come out there. I'm not sure what's happened there. I think Chubby Slug actually came out in between Pace and Mika Lando. So that's freed up Pace quite a lot to just go for it. Tesco is hounding the back of Mika Lando there. Is he going to have a go? And these two are going to go back at it again on the pit straight. Devereaux is quite close to them as well. I think they might have encountered the traffic. Bosch closing in a bit as well. Georgie is starting to gain in on that battle as well. We'll see what Tesco does on the straight here. He's just pushing that Aston Martin along, isn't he? We'll see. You can see right at the bottom of your picture there, the DRS is on. Tesco, I think, is going to make a move on the Aston Martin here, both on the hard tyres. These two have been fighting it out for so much of the race, and Tesco is going to make the pass in plenty of time. Bosch choosing not to overtake Devereaux there. Chubby Slug is right on the back of the VCAP driver there. Oh, VCAP has had a bit of a snap on the hard tyres there. That's Pace in it there. Those fresh mediums of Chubby are going to start coming alive. I expect him to make a pass on VCAP very, very soon. But Pace just needs to stick in his DRS because his mediums will fall away eventually. Pace is kind of single file through here. I tell you what, Pace is going to get a lovely dose of DRS, or he might not. The Haas driver of Gio, that is, going into the pits to put on the medium tyres. Chubby Slug with his DRS open. Pace is going to get DRS, but he's got no chance against the grip of the medium tyres. Chubby Slug moves into P6. Tesco there is going alongside Mika Lando. You can see at the top of your picture he defends. Bosch makes the move on Devereaux there, who's the only driver not to pit. Georgie is closing in on this battle now, so we'll keep an eye on him as he comes up. Gio, we'll see where he comes out. I think he's going to come out of the points. He's going to come out ahead of Dale, but just fighting Kev. Rob is getting that much closer to Lucalis, it must be said. So it's 1 second the gap there, not enough for DRS. But I tell you what, Fatboy Sim does have DRS, goes down the inside of Rob, makes the move stick. Rob is carried Fatboy Sim and Skarma right up to fighting distance of Lucalis, and Fatboy Sim says, I'll take over from here. Can Fatboy Sim catch up to Lucalis and make the pass? Lucalis was 2.5 seconds ahead at one point, encountered traffic with Chubby Slug. The gap got closed up ever so slightly, and now Fatboy Sim is in striking distance for the lead of this race. Lucalis has led from the first lap all the way up until his pit stop. Fatboy Sim being very careful not to invalidate. As it stands, Lucalis is carrying 3 seconds of penalties, and Fatboy Sim is going to get the DRS, and it is battle on for the lead of this race as it stands. I tell you what, Mika Lando is getting very close to the back of Tesco, but not close enough unless he decides to make a move down there. Bosch is getting close on Georgie, who did pass the kick driver. He's just recharging. Mika Lando might decide to have a go on the pit straight. I'm just having a look up the top field here. Mika Lando is actually very close to him indeed. Devereaux pits off of the hard tyres. He's the last car to pit. Mika Lando, he thinks about the move, but Tesco defends well, and we'll see where they end up as we get over to the straight. Georgie will be joining that battle very soon, I would imagine. I'm going to go down here. Fatboy Sim, I think, is very slightly fallen out of DRS range of Lucalis there. We'll see. Is he going to get the DRS? He does not get DRS. So, big gains for Lucas. He's just broken the DRS. Rob does have the DRS, but he's not close enough to make a move. But I think Fatboy Sim was just able to stick in the toe a little bit to keep fighting for another day. So we'll see how he goes. Lucas is probably taking an opportunity to recharge as well. We'll have a look. I'm just having a look up and down the grid here. Mika Lando could very well make another move on Tesco. These two have overtaken each other more times than I can count. Up and down here, Baz is pretty close to Mr. CD. We'll probably see a move there, but I'm just going to go on board with Mika Lando as he goes down the outside of Tesco there. Tesco defends very, very well there. Mika Lando, will he try and get the switch back there? Not enough grip. Pace sticking on the back of Chubby there. Baz in the background makes a move on Mr. CD. So this is perfect for Pace to just be pulled along ever so slightly by the medium driver, although I think he just broken DRS, and we'll wait for those mediums to fall off a little bit. You can see here, Lucas and Fatboy Sim are just trying to recharge their batteries a bit to be able to fight each other. We'll see, is Fatboy Sim waiting for a last lap move? We'll have to see. Rob and Skarma just sticking in there. Skarma's just trying to keep the gap to Chiv. He knows he's carrying some penalties. Lucas is carrying 3 seconds of time penalties as it stands. Yes, Tesco and Mika Lando both carrying penalties. They are going side by side again. I can't keep my eyes off these two here. Tesco goes for the switchback on Mika Lando. Just presses the Aston Martin driver to the curb. The Aston Martin keeps it in. They're side by side again through Sector 1. And Mika Lando keeps the position this time. Brilliant racing for those. Baz is starting to gain... I think on Geo there on the hards. I want to just go further up here. Fatboy Sim is going side by side. He's going to go down the outside and makes the move on Lucas. Lucas just sends it up the inside. Fatboy Sim has to give him space. Lucas is going to try and get better drive, but Fatboy Sim is going to send it up the inside here. No, he lets it go. Fatboy Sim decides to wait and fight another day, just trying to recharge his battery. Rob was very close in getting involved on that. Skarma at some point picked up another 3 seconds of time penalty, so he's carrying 9 seconds, but is clear of Chiv in P5 as it stands. On the background, Tesco makes the move on Mika Lando once again. Mr. CD there, I think, might decide to make a move on Baz. There he does. Mr. CD going side by side and past the Williams driver. These two are having a great battle there as well. Mr. CD and Baz both carrying penalties. Mr. CD 3 seconds more. 6 seconds, excuse me. Georgie is very close to the back of Mika Lando as Lucas is past, I think. Lucas is, where am I? Lucas has been passed. Yes, he has. Excuse me. Lucas has been passed. I was on the wrong driver there. So Fatboy Sim made the move on the pit straight. I missed it. And Lucas is just going to have to sit back and try and attack again. We've had a change for the lead here on the pit straight. Mika Lando and Tesco are going to go side by side. I think Georgie's going to go down the inside of the pair of them there. No, he's gone down the inside of Mika Lando. I think let him... no, he's gone. No, that's Tesco. Tesco's gone. Tesco's had a spin. Big drama for the Mercedes driver on the exit of T1 there. Just struggled to get the car going. Is passed by Gio and will be passed by Mr. CD in a minute as well, I think. I'm going to go all the way back down there. Rob is closing in. He's past Lucas. Rob is going to go down the outside of the Ferrari driver. The Ferrari defends, but Rob gets much better traction. He's going to take the inside line and the line. Lucas has been shuffled back from P1 to B3 in one lap, and Rob has decided to take the position on the pit straight. Brilliant racing from the 3 of these up there. Tesco's getting involved. Mika Lando has fallen back as well. Mika Lando's had an incident somewhere. He's fallen back. As we have a look there, that's Bosch making the move there. Georgie is out on his own there. I'm not sure what happened there. There's a 7-second gap that's been pulled down. I'm not sure what happened to both Tesco, Gio, Bosch, and Mika Lando. They were all quite close to each other. But I'm going to go back on board here as Fatboy Sim goes down the inside of the Aston Martin. This is brilliant racing. Lucas is just going to have to sit back and recharge his battery to go again. They're all fighting here. Skarma must be loving the show here. Gio is very close to the back of Bosch. He might have a go on the pit straight, but I'm watching Rob. Look how close he is to the back of that Ferrari car. He is determined to make the pass go. We've only got a few more laps left here. You need to start picking your overtaking places, don't you? As we see Gio make the pass on Bosch down the pit straight there. Mika Lando's in the pits. Mika Lando is in the pits. I'm not sure if he's going to chuck another tire or maybe he's going to try the soft tires. We will see. That's going to put him out of the points as it stands. But Rob is going to make a move down the inside of Fatboy Sim. We're going to get a brilliant view of it from Lucas here. Fatboy Sim lets him have the position. Rob passes all the way down. Luke just has a little look up the inside just to let him know he's there, just to remind him. As we have a look there, that's Chiv being passed by Chubby Slug. Chubby Slug on the medium tires is absolutely flying. That's P11 up to P5. Brilliant run from him so far. He is carrying penalties. Chubby Slug, he is going to have to start building the gap as it stands. Having a look up and down. The Great Bosch is pretty close to Geo there. And Fatboy Sim is getting close to Rob. I think they might do the same thing again. Rob and Fatboy Sim look like they've been, and Lucas, they've all been recharging the battery. I'm expecting a last lap chaos here. So Fatboy Sim has his DRS on. Is he going to even try and make the move on the Aston Martin driver? He's going to go down the inside. Is he going to make the move happen? He decides to stick out of it. He knows the plan. Does he? A little bit of contact as the Aston Martin slows up. Lucas is side by side with the Ferrari driver going down through the S's here. The Ferrari driver washes a little bit wide but claims the position ahead as he goes through the S's, a single file all the way through here. Fatboy Sim has learned from his mistakes with what Rob was planning, and he's going to make the move on Rob, or at least attempt to, going down the pit straight here. And Fatboy Sim picks up 3 seconds of time penalties. That shakes up everything. Rob now is the only driver with no penalties. Fatboy Sim and Lucas are both holding on 3 seconds of time penalties. Skarma's obviously carrying 9. Mr. Cedi makes the pass on Tesco's. Georgie picks up a 3-second time penalty for good measure. We're going to see Fatboy Sim close in. He's using his battery. Rob is also using his battery to defend, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Is Fatboy Sim going to make a move, late move down the inside here? Decides against it. Skarma was alongside Lucas, but just let it go. Skarma's actually fighting for it now, but I think Lucas is just going to pull ahead. Mr. Cedi is leading a train down there as Vibora makes the move on Dale. No, Dale Pitts, excuse me. So Dale's in the pits. And these 4 have just been a cut above the rest, haven't they? Looking in the background, Chubby Slug is carrying 6 seconds of time penalties. He needs to pull another 5 seconds on Chiv in the next 5 or 6 so laps. I think it's 7 laps left, excuse me. Skarma is just getting a beautiful view of this. Look at this. Rob and Fatboy Sim. Rob's going to try and make Fatboy Sim pass him on the pit straight again so he can pass him on the back straight. A move we've seen quite a few times. Look at this. The 4 of them all separated by less than a second. Are we going to see a move somewhere? Fatboy Sim moves over and they're all just waiting, aren't they? Nobody wants to make the move here because you're so at risk down the pit straight. And we follow them again elsewhere down the grid. Mr. Cedi, I think, is going to be at risk down the pit straight from Baz and Tesco down there. Michelando makes the move on Vibora going down the back straight as well. Michelando looking to try and recover for the points. Devereaux makes the move on Kev there as well. They're going side by side. But speaking of side by side, I expect to see that in just a few moments from the Ferrari driver. The Ferrari driver really needs Rob to pick up a 3-second time penalty because it is so difficult to pass and break the gap for the DRS here. Otherwise, Rob is in a very good position to win this race. Pace is still sitting in P7. Georgie is kind of in no man's land there as well. Fatboy Sim is closing on Rob and closing and makes the pass happen as well. Lucas just sits back. He's waiting. He knows that he needs to wait for a later lap. Rob is just going to let him go. Devereaux and Kev are also passing. We'll go all the way back down here. Let's have a look at what these two have been up to. It was a pass, I think, in the S's at some point there. Mr. Cedi was able to keep his position on for a career best P11. That would be a brilliant finish for him. But of course, he's carrying penalties as well. I told you penalties would define this race. As it stands, Rob, Chiv, and Pace are the only drivers to not carry any penalties whatsoever. That is Tesco, that is, going looking alongside Baz there. As you can see in your mirror, Tesco is alongside the Williams driver. He is going to send it up the inside here. And Tesco makes the pass move, trying to recover some points after his early spin. Baz is going to try and fight it, but I think Tesco has the better line and is going to take the... No, Baz, look at that. Look at the traction from the Williams driver. Just drives around the outside of the Mercedes like he isn't even there. Well defended from Baz, and that frees up Mr. Cedi out of DRS range from Baz there. Very good for him. As we look up the top there, there's still no change for position. Rob is still following Fatboy Sim as it stands. Fatboy Sim and Lucas carrying 3 seconds of time penalty. Skarma carrying 9, with Chubby Slug trying to get into that window. Obviously, he's carrying 3 seconds less. And just trying to pull away from Chiv in order to keep that position P5, which would be very good for him. Rob is very close to the back of Fatboy Sim, and we're going to see another pass here. Fatboy Sim goes defensive. Rob, oh, it's big contact! It's massive contact! Leon is out! Fatboy Sim is out! It's a safety car! It's a safety car! There was enormous contact there! Fatboy Sim got absolutely launched into the wall and is out! What on earth happened there? It looked like there was a crazy coming together between Rob and Fatboy Sim. That's remarkable, and he's out. Fatboy Sim in contention for a podium here. The current P0 champion has been murdered basically into the wall. That was a spectacular crash, it must be said. I'm sure that'll go down in the steward's room later, but we have a safety car which will have 2 laps of the safety car. Nobody pits from the... No, Luke pits. So Luke is in the pits. Rob is in the pits as well. So we're going to see drivers put on the soft tyre here, I think. Skarma is stayed out. Skarma has stayed out. So let's see. Chubby Slug's in the pits. Chiv is in the pits. Pace in the pits. Georgie just coming around now, all putting on the soft tyre for a dash at the end. Because of how the game works... we'll see. Does Georgie does pit. So because how the game works, the safety car will be in lap 26 no matter what. So Georgie's in the pits as well. So Skarma stayed out on the hard tyres. He is going to be in big trouble there. Rob on the soft tyres leads Luke. Chubby Slug on the soft tyres has pulled his strategy to perfection. But I tell you, as well as Chiv. Because, of course, Chubby Slug's carrying penalties. This could be a very interesting end to this race. Gio's in the pits. Bosch is in the pits. Mr. CD, Tesco is in the pits as well. Baz in the pits. Every driver, except for Pace, excuse me. Pace has stayed out on the mediums. So Pace thinks that... No, sorry, Pace has put on the mediums. My apologies. So Pace and Bosch have both put on the mediums. Maybe they didn't have a pair of softs to put on. Who has saved a pair of softs? We'll have to see. Devereaux is in the pits as well. Tesco, and that's Mika Landa, who's actually on fresh mediums as it stands. He has made his way through back to P11. Mr. CD in P10 as well. A lot of penalties floating around now. So Skarma is in the lead on worn hard tyres. I expect him to be shuffled back now. He's 9 seconds worth of penalties as Rob starts to close in. We'll have one more lap of the safety car. Then Lucullus follows, and then Chubby Slug. Lucullus on 3 seconds of penalties. Chubby Slug on 6 seconds. Chiv also on the soft tyres in P5. Pace is on the mediums as well. Georgie, carrying 3 seconds of penalties, is also on the soft tyre as he starts to make his way up. Gio is also on the soft tyre. He's carrying 6 seconds of penalties. Bosch on the mediums with 9. Mr. CD's on fresh softs with 12 seconds of penalties. Mika Lando carrying 9 seconds on mediums that he pitted for earlier. And Skarma pits. Skarma realizes his mistake. He goes into the pits. Baz, Tesco, Devereaux all on softs, all carrying 6 seconds of penalties. Kev carrying 3. Dale is carrying 3 as well. And then Vibora carrying 28 seconds down with a soft tyre at the end. So Skarma realizes his issue. He's pit. He's going to put on the medium tyres. We'll see where he comes out. And this is going to be the last lap of the safety car. And I tell you what... Georgie is going to come out ahead of Skarma here. And Georgie's going to close in here to this pack as well. So I don't think every driver is going to have a chance to close up because the safety car will be in this lap no matter what. And then it'll be a 2-second sprint to the end, basically. What we want to look at is the penalties here because this is really going to define what's going to happen. So Skarma's here. We're going to see if Gio can close that gap by the end. I think he might. The safety car is going quite slow just to try and bunch everyone up. I'm not sure if those such as Kev, Devereaux, Dale, and Vibora are going to have a chance to catch up. We'll see. I got to take an opportunity to drink some more beer. As it stands, Rob is in a golden position as Tesco picks up a 3-second time penalty under a safety car, pushing him after 9 seconds. And your guess is as good as mine as to what the finishing position will be. Rob is in a very good position to win this race here. Chiv and Pace also, to be noted, not having any penalties could be a real shout for the podium here, assuming no driver gets in anyone's ways. Chubby's carrying 6 seconds of penalties. Luke carrying 3. Very easy to pick up penalties, as we spoke about in the pre-race. Safety car is in this lap, so we're going to see cars bunch up. I think that might be... Tesco, I think Devereaux might close up in time, as might Kev, actually. I'm not sure about Dale, but we're going to go on board with Rob, who will lead us off. Excuse me as I just settle. So Rob is now the pace setter. He can go whenever he wants. I expect him to go basically at some point in the middle 2 corners. Just waiting for the safety car to box. But Rob is setting the pace for the rest of the field, as we can see. So this is going to be very, very, very interesting indeed. What are we going to see? You see Georgie there. Just looking at the inside of pace there, the V-car. But Rob's gone. So Rob has decided to go. Has he caught the drivers off? We will see. So Rob leads Luke from Chiv down Chubby Slug as well. Pace Georgie. And we see the car snaking all the way down. I tell you what, Scarma's fairly close to the back of that Red Bull, but decides against it. Chubby Slug was also quite close to the back of Luke in the McLaren there as well. And they're all going to run their way through. There's going to be 1 lap of DRS here. To define how this race goes. Pace there is just trying to stick on the back of Chiv as well. Chiv's starting to fall away from DRS already. Chubby Slug is quite close. These 3 are very close together. I have to say, Bosch picks up another 3 seconds of time penalties, putting up to 12. You might be able to do the quick math in your head, but I'm going to watch here as these 2 go around. Chubby Slug might make a move down the inside of Lucalis, down into the corner for the straight. Chubby Slug wants this. He wants his opportunity to get a podium here. Lucalis lets it go, but goes for the switchback. But I don't think he's going to have enough pace here. Chubby Slug is going. They're both using their battery. Lucalis thought about getting into the toe, but decides against it. And this is going to be really interesting to see how DRS dictates this. Looking up and down the field, I'm not sure if anyone else is going to have a go. Georgie just decides to stay out of it. Pace decides to stay out of it. Lucalis as well. Kev does make a pass on Devereaux. Oh no, they're going side by side in the background there. But I'm trying to watch up here for the who's going to win this race. I want to keep the interval on here. This is going to be the killer. There's going to be 1 lap, 2 DRS zones, and look how racy Chubby Slug is feeling. He might even make a move for it before the back straight. He needs to pull a monster gap here. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do it, but this is going to be fascinating here. As you go around the final corner, Chubby Slug, is he going to make a move up the inside of Rob here? He sets the fastest lap of the race. He goes around the inside, excuse me. Chubby Slug is going to fight Rob all the way here. Luke maybe has a look at the inside. Rob is not necessarily going to fight. He knows he doesn't need to with his penalties. Chiv is closed up quite a lot to the back there. Chubby Slug is your new leader. We've had 3 different race leaders in this in this race, and they're all so close together. Pace has also picked up 3 seconds of time penalties on this. Heartbreak for him. He was in for a good chance of points there. That's been ripped away. A podium there which was ripped away. I think Lucalis will still be the one to finish on the podium as it stands, if my math is right. Lucalis is on a big step. Chiv, is he going to go around the outside of his teammate? Here he is. Chiv makes the pass on Lucalis. Lucalis had a step coming out of it. I tell you what, Pace is very close to Lucalis, and this is for position here. Luke had a good chance in winning this race. He picked up a penalty. He was overtaken by both Rob and Fatboy Sim. Rob just make the pass on Chubby Slug in the background there. Pace is closing out on the back of Chiv here. Is Pace going to make a move at some point? Lucalis goes down the inside. It's the better line. Chiv is just doing a lot of help here. Pace goes around the outside. Lucalis, he's going to have the inside line here. Luke is going to go for the cutback. I want to get this on board here as we look at the broadcast cam. Lucalis has been passed by Pace here. Oh, he's going to have a chance. He's going to have a run up the back here. But I just need to go. I have to keep an eye on that, but I'm going to go up the top here. He's a man who kept his car within the white lines. He raced very well from the start. Rob there rounds the final corner. Rob Wills wins the race here in COTA. Chubby Slug, well, Chiv goes in P2, Pace P3, Lucalis P4, Georgie up to P5, Chubby Slug finishes P6, Gio up to P7. Brilliant move from him there. Skarma P8, Kev up to P9, Dale up to P10, Mika Lando P11, Mr. Seedy with a career best P12, Bosch P13, Tesco down P14. I missed the last point scoring place there. I think that was Devereaux who scored the last point scoring race, and that was an absolutely hectic end to this race. My goodness me. The game gives driver of the day to Georgie, but I tell you what, I'm going to give it to Bosch, Gio myself. I thought Gio drove an absolutely brilliant race. Fair play to the Haas driver coming through in P7. But Rob is our race winner. Well done to Rob. It's his second race win of the season. Oh my god, my throat is absolutely killing me. This has been an absolutely chaotic race, isn't it? Whew. I think that was Devereaux down in P15. Let's have a look. Yes, it was indeed Deverodan P15, Baz P16, Vibora P17, and then Fatboy Sim and P18. Well, P18, I should say, with the DNF. I'll see if there's anyone who wants to do interviews, which is something we do like to do. I haven't done it for the last few races. I'll put myself in here. What a dramatic end to that race. My goodness me. Oh, I want to know what happened there between Rob and Leon. That was an absolutely remarkable accident. No, we're not able to do any... I don't think we're going to be able to do any... yeah, we've run a bit too late here, so no interviews. That's fine. We will try and do some for the next race. Wow, what a race that was. Good Lord. I'm going to have a hell of a time making the highlights out of that one, aren't I? Oh, thank you all so much. COTA never fails to disappoint, does it? Absolutely brilliant race there. Qualifying was fantastic. Couple of career best qualifying, couple of career best finishes as well. Driver of the day goes to go to Gio. Brilliant drive from P17 to P7 on the grid, I have to say. Well done to him. I appreciate you all for your support, for your follows, for your Prime subs, for being here with me. And I will see you all for the next race next Sunday, which is... Let me check off the top of my head. It is Spa. Spa-Francorchamps. One of the best tracks on the calendar, with a sprint race, for good measure, as well. I appreciate you all. I will see you all next Sunday. Take care. Bye-bye.